it's a long story, but the important thing is the campground is on Burton.
Yeah.
And Burton is the Baptist Assembly. And so I knew about camp for years before I got actively involved, because our son Eddie was one of the original campers, because it was the old days. It was the handy camp. Then through years and experience, Barbara Gregg, who was teaching with me, we welcomed John Holliday, who came in off the street from New York, a journalist looking for a unique volunteer experience. So he decided he would volunteer with us in our classroom and our deafblind children, who were either partially hearing or partially sighted or none of the above, and very developmentally challenged. And John just fell in love with the whole thing. John went and he saw this camp, and it was very God-driven, because it was the Baptist Assembly. And he said, well, I'm totally involved, but my vision is to welcome everyone, regardless of their religion. And so I think out of that was born part of my philosophy in life. Don't talk about it, walk the walk, don't talk, walk. And so they took less of the emphasis off of the religious push per se, and more towards the kindness, the goodness. And that's what we engendered,
The great universal power of friendship.
That's right. And love.
Yeah.
And community.
Yeah.
In the best ways.
Totally.
Where people are not forgotten and left out.
So in 1997 is when Camp Parkview reached out to Michael Polowitz at Parkview.
Right, but by that time, a version of camp had been going on for since 1983. Michael Polowitz just delighted us because he was so open to it. And he took it to the board, and they were open to it. And that's when we came underneath that great Parkview umbrella, because we needed someone to agree to help us raise money, hire a director, because pro bono people forever and ever, just it's non-sustainable. And we needed help, because it really costs money to do all those things, right? You don't even know if you can believe it when you see it, because here are all these people, and now you don't see each other all year sometimes, right? They just come, and it's like, you're there, take advantage of every second of it, because this is another world. This is another family, and this is a family that can carry you through so many other things if you can just remember the goodness that it engenders, and the wonderful stuff that goes on. And when the world gets a little questionable on the other side of the tracks, we can pick those camp moments out of our heart and our head and say, yes, but that world also exists, and we all come together to help create it, and those are special people. It's that family reunion of choice. I always say, that's where you hope you're going to see those people again, because it just feels so good, and there's so much synchronicity with both the campers, who are the most important focal part of all that, our purpose, and then all of the people who come to be there to both be with the campers and support the campers. And it just, when it gels, it's such a beautiful thing. It's so incredible,
It's pretty incredible that we've been able to do it. Right?
I know.
It's just like to think about how many things have changed since 1983, and that stability for someone with disabilities is so critical. To know that every summer you're gonna have this thing. You know what to expect. You know it's gonna be fun. You know there's gonna be a talent show. You know Myrna's gonna be there. You know what you're getting yourself into. I do a lot of reflection about me as the director, almost 10 years, and thinking about men of my age, my peers, people I know, and the fact that I can, I hate to use the term ownership because I don't own it, but ownership over the idea, the stewardship the idea to be like in my mid-30s with the stewardship of a program with so much history and so much love, it's like, it makes me feel like the luckiest person. How lucky am I?
Well,
I
how
mean,
lucky
like,
is Cam?
and I get to work for Parkview. I get to work full time in this field. I get to, support people doing work that I see it and I know that it's good. It just makes me so happy that I get to do this. And our campers who are just the most special part of the whole thing,
Lots of lessons they teach.
Flashback to March 2020. I'm happy that we only took 1 year off of meeting in person and that we found ways to be safe and we found ways to do arts and crafts and the talent show. And, it's the stability of those events for our campers. That's what lets them know we'll be there next year in some way. Camp will be there. I just think that providing that stability to the campers is our duty in a way, as we honor the work that you all had done to set the tracks for this train. That these campers need to know that we are here. We are trying to do this for you. You learn how much work these parents put into the life
every day.
And that's something that I think we have to mention when we talk about camp. It has to be a part of the picture. Is camp is here to serve so many people. Camp's here to serve the campers, right? They look forward to it all year. Camp's here to serve our volunteers who might be seeking some love and longing. But camp's here to support these family members who give every day.
And who often will still have their adult child at home. And those days of respite are incredible. And we actually, originally, in our formatting, John Holliday and I, we were both on a board of this residential program that we'd started, and that became the only time in the history of that program for a year that people among the staff could take several days off, because we would take the residents of that program, just like what happened, but not ever totally, with Parkview House. But I mean, the concept's huge.
The concept is
because
huge.
How do you get the time?
And I hear these parents pick up and drop off. I'm so lucky to hear their stories. And I ask them every year. I say, "What are you doing this week?" And sometimes it's so big, and it's like, "We are going to Hawaii."
Oh.
And sometimes it's so small, and it's like, "I'm gonna go to Fred Meyer and I'm gonna walk the aisles," and it's like, we get to give you that. We get to offer you this chance to just live life, because you are giving so much energy to your campers. And it's so
crazy.
What an honor to be able to provide that respite for the families. And then you have people who live in group homes, and it even affects them. So if there's 5 people living in a group home and 3 of them come to camp, think about the week of quiet that those 2 residents get at home, and the staff. You're impacting the quality of life. I like having a little quiet time. We live with roommates. You want a little time alone, and it's offering some diversity in things they can do and different things for everybody. Even if you don't come to camp, it impacts everybody. And like you're saying, the staff can take vacations.
That continuity, if we could just get back some of it, maybe even the reptile man.
I can get him scheduled. And the continuity that Parkview gets to provide, right? That's the joy of having that support, right? Of an actual nonprofit who's doing other work, who can provide that stability, right? Who can take a little bit of the weight off the general community and serve, meet the need, and be there for people in the community with disabilities. I mean, it's like, that is a critical decision that you all made in 1997 to bring them on board, because it takes a little bit of the weight off your shoulder, knowing that there's another board of directors who has to answer to it, and there's an executive director who's watching over the program. There's insurance,
scary,
there's everything. I mean,
liability issues are.
It's a big deal to have the backing of a nonprofit like Parkview, who has history working with this population. I mean, that means that we can all know that this is bigger than us, right? This is being taken care of by the community.
That's right.
It's critical. And what foresight you all had to look at the tea leaves and say, what are we going to do? How do we do this forever? We can't. We have to lean on people in our community to help. We have to ask for help. And now we're here, 25 years later. That was 25 years ago that Parkview took over. Thinking about the leadership of Marc Cote at Parkview in the way that he cares about what we do, right? He really
my
cares about these
gosh.
people in a way that it's just very special to work under leadership like that.
Well, and I've known Marc since he was just a staff,
With the beret,
unpaid,
with the beret, right?
with a beret in the original Parkview home. Here he is doing these fantastic things and pushing Parkview Services to new levels, and all of you working together to continue that during COVID. Very impressive.
Yeah.
You know,
He really cares about the people and the mission, and he is passionate about this idea of meet the need. Meet the need. That's what he's always talking about. We're meeting the need.
And
what are we doing here if we're not meeting the need? It's a great way. It's a great outlook for work. You know, for this kind of work.
That's fantastic.
You're meeting the need.
And be real, and also be real with a fantastic heart. I mean, Marc is not only brilliant and takes that engineering brain and applies it to human dynamics and possibilities some of us can't even think about, but he really does. He cares so deeply about all these people and all the people that work within Parkview. And this is a very good time in the universe for
It's a great time.
all of this stuff to come to fruition at a time when we need that kind of stuff to lift us up a little more to move on. These are the things that really touch you. You know, people have made this part of the bigger picture of their lives. I'd love to be able to get more people involved. I think maybe this will be the year, because
I think this is the year.
Because COVID is just enough removed to remind us not only move forward, spring forward a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
we can
try
take this opportunity to invite new people in. Anyone can apply. Anyone can be there with us. We can invite people into this world, and we do invite people, and we want to invite people into this world because it's a special place.
Yeah, it is. I'm dreaming of it already.
I am too.